Hi, I'm Paul. This is Velog number 10. We're down at HasBean Roastery. We're going to join Steve Leighton and Liam Holohan to make the 2016 RideStaffs Coffee Blend. This is what you'll be drinking when you're on site at Shugborough, and if you want to, you can purchase online before the event too. Okay, so here we are in the beating heart of the HasBean Empire, and before me we have a selection of coffees which we're going to be cupping today to decide what goes in the 2016 RideStaffs Festival Coffee Blend. So without further ado, I'll drag in Steve, enter stage right. Hello Steve.
Hello.
What are we going to be doing today?
So basically what we're going to do is going to cup some coffees. We're going to, cupping is a process kind of similar to wine tasting where you're not really drinking, you're assessing. And we're going to look what we want the blend to have. So we've got 5 different coffees here which are have different properties, and we'll bring different things to the blend, and then it's for us to decide what we want more of, what we want, well, for us to decide, I think Liam has to decide, but we get to decide what we want more of, what we want less of, and then perhaps use 2, 3, at a push 4. We definitely won't use all of them. So we'll be looking for what we want to have. I've gone for different coffees. I've got one from Colombia there, which is Meridiano, which is from a co-op in Tolima, which is in north of Bogota in Colombia, which is the capital city.
This is one that's been in my mug?
It was in my mug, episode 390. It is big, smallish co-op, actually, normal numbers, about 58 members. This is put together by 28 members. One of them very kindly sent us a picture with his cat, which is the product descriptor photo for this one. It's the 3rd year of having it. We also did this one as a decaf as well, but this is the normal caffeinated washed coffee from Tolima. We then got one here from Rwanda, this is also a washed coffee, another one from a co-op. Rwanda, very small country, lots of altitude, lots of specialty growers. They don't produce rubbish coffee, it tends to be all specialty. This is particularly one of my favourites of late last year. Bolivia, this is from near the town of Caranavi. It's called Bolivia Loaiza. Difference with this one, it's a peaberry. Peaberry is basically a rounder bean. When a bean forms inside a seed, you have 2 seeds. Every now and again, only one forms, and that's where peaberries come from. This is from a guy called Felix, who has 10 hectares of land, real subsistence grower, and somebody we've worked with for 5 years now. We've got another one from Colombia, called Santuario. This is unusual because this is an estate coffee, and it is a Caturra varietal, grown by a guy called Camilo Merezal. This is a really special coffee. This is something that, if we do put it in the blend, will give it a real bit of class, but also like lots of sweetness. It's a super sweet coffee, and that's recently arrived a few weeks ago. And then we've got a Brazilian. No blend is complete without a Brazilian. This is a natural. You've tasted naturals before, perhaps people haven't there, but naturals tend to be a lot more funky, a lot more bigger, bolder, brighter. This one is a very clean natural, so it actually won't give you too funky a flavour, but might bring something to the blend as well.
Okay, so before we bring in our specialist to help us do the cupping, you talked about different qualities, so what would be those categories of different qualities that these beans would bring to the blend?
Yeah, so I mean, something like the Colombian here and the Brazil will give us body. Particularly these 2 Colombians will give us a lot of sweetness. This peaberry will give us a lot more acidity and brightness, and then particularly the Rwanda might kind of make it almost zippy and light and zingy. But they're all different kind of levels of that. So, you know, if you think about eating a lemon and then eating an orange, you have acidity, but some of it's much sharper than the others. So what we're going to do, we'll dive in and we'll see which ones Liam prefers, and then we'll build the blend.
Brilliant. Well, we've chatted about him, so should we bring him in?
We should really.
Liam, come on in. So, this is Liam Holohan, rides for Team Wiggins. You might have seen him as we record this. It's just after the Tour de Yorkshire, and Liam made a fine showing on behalf of the team over that weekend. And he's here to join us today to help us choose some coffees. So I guess maybe to start with, Liam, what do you look for in a coffee?
I think it depends how you're going to drink it. So at home, I often drink espresso with milk, but like when I'm on the road, it's AeroPress because I'm travelling that. So I think from a filter, I prefer like Steve was talking about, like the sweeter stuff. Whereas with the milk, I prefer more of an acidic coffee. I just find the milk works with it a bit better. But like I said, that's my personal preference. From everything Steve was saying, they all sound pretty good. So we've got a bit of a job on our hands.
That should be easy enough. I mean, the thing with cupping is like you will notice differences. You drink a glass of wine, you go, oh, that's a lovely glass of wine. Well, I do, and then I drink another and another and another. But if you do a tasting and you actually go and try something else and try them side by side, you really have that reference point to find something different. And I think each one will appeal in a different way. So hopefully we'll build an interesting blend.
Great stuff. Should we crack on?
We should.
Okay, Steve. So what do we do first?
Right. So I've ground the coffee already. Just been ground just before we came on camera. We're going to add water. We're going to let it sit for 4 minutes. After that 4 minutes, we're going to get a spoon. We're going to break the crust on top that forms, stirring it only 3 times. Once it's stirred, I'll come along and clean them off. When you break it, you should smell. Smell gives you a great kind of precursor for what's coming. Gives you a really good idea of what you're going to be tasting. And then once they're cleaned off and it's cool enough to do, we'll get a spoon. We're going to make ridiculous noises in front of the camera, slurping away. And then we're just going to look at them and see which ones we like and which ones we prefer and which ones we think will bring what we want for the cycling blend.
Great stuff. Let's do it. So we're back. 4 minutes have elapsed.
Didn't look like you were sure you were back then.
I think I'm back.
You're back. Good.
I think 4 minutes have elapsed. It's time to break the crust. Liam, do you want to do the honours?
I will.
So
3 times.
3 times, and then have a smell. The Meridiano, I think, it's a bit safe. It's a bit boring. It's kind of sweet, chocolate. It's got a little bit of acidity to it, but it's not much. It's a real safe, easy coffee. You know, it's not spectacular. It's not, you know, it's a good, solid specialty coffee. The Rwandan, I'm not getting the acidity I was expecting from it. I actually found more acidity in the next one, in the Bolivia, than I did in this one. I think what it would do to a blend, it would bring you a little bit of interest in there. It would be a little bit of zing. You wouldn't want to use too much or something like that, You'd want to use a smaller amount. This one, I got lots more zip from. This I'm getting some cherry. I kind of love the mouthfeel of it as well. It's a very creamy mouthfeel. I think it's an espresso, that's really going to come through well in an espresso. The Santuario, it's not that this is a Colombian profile. I think they do taste very similar, but this has more pizzazz. It has more zhoomph to it. It's got something really interesting going on. The yellow fruit, I'm getting like a little bit of almost like a banana mouthfeel, a little bit of apricot. It's very clean, very kind of like lingering on a long time. And then this is exactly what I expect good Brazil natural to be. Dark chocolate, base note. It's got a real kind of chewiness to it.
I thought that had it, and again, this is where I was made. For me, that was a bit of Ferrero Rocher. There was a bit of hazelnut to it.
Definitely.
That was the thing that immediately came through with that one.
And that's the thing you find with a lot of the Brazilians is their typical profile is milk chocolate or dark chocolate and nutty. You know, and again, what I said earlier about them being safe and easy to blend with, that's a safe and easy one to blend with.
And if we were looking at these, because obviously people are going to be enjoying this at the cycling festival itself, the guys from Bold Street are going to be making this for us on site. They may be asking for an espresso or for a milk-based drink. Which one of these, or how might you go about constructing a blend that's going to...
It's up to Liam, I'm not allowed to do anything here. I'm just giving him the toolbox in front of him to choose what it is. But I think, you know, what you want is a blend is exactly that. It's a blend of things to make it bigger than its sum of parts. So, you know, you're going to be looking for some acidity, you're going to be looking for some sweetness, and you're going to be looking for some body. My order of importance for me personally is nobody hates sweet things. So nobody's ever upset with that. Oh, my coffee's too sweet. Can you take it back, please? But acidity, some people interpret as bitter, and not everybody likes too much of that. So it's about finding the blend and the mix of interesting for people like me and you who like to drink acidic coffees and like to have that, you know, that complexity. But then finding something for, you know, somebody who's just cycled around a course and just wants an espresso to give them a little bit of a zip and a bit of bick up, you know, something like the Brazil Natural there, or the Colombian, or the other Colombian, and give them exactly what they want to. So it's about finding the balance. So,
let's give you a couple of minutes to mull it over, hey?
Yeah, I really liked the Brazilian. And like I said, I drink a lot of espresso. I think most people at the cycling festival will have a milk-based espresso drink.
Yeah,
I think
it's going to cut through the milk as well. Isn't that dark chocolate is going to really come through? Because what you don't want is just have a cup of milk. Yeah. And the guys at Bold Street are going to be doing like 6-8 ounce drinks. It's going to really power through, which will be good.
But I think we definitely have to include the Brazil.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. I think the other one that jumped out from me was the Bolivian.
Yeah.
Like you said, the complexity of that with that I think would work very well. And then it's if we go for a third option or.
I think we should go for a third. I think we've got enough. I think because otherwise we just end up with something that's, you know, basy and there is acidity in there, but I think a little bit more sweetness to it might kind of go just to balance it out a little bit and glue them both together. Because they're both very different coffees, and if we sit just those two side by side, there's nothing like a pathway between them. I kind of call it the glue. So when you're building a blend, you have to have the glue that kind of holds the two other components together. And I think something like that one or that one could be a really good glue to bring it together. Yeah. This, because it's just sweet and chocolatey and smooth and then that. This, it can almost like add to the complexity, so it depends whether you want it to be a little bit more acidity. Because we haven't really gone for like Kenyans here or Ethiopians here, which are high acidity. You know, we've gone for Bolivians and Rwandas, which, you know, it's kind of like, I didn't want it to be super sour for those people, you know, who may not be used to having specialty coffee all the time. I want them to enjoy it as well as us enjoying it. So I think you probably could get away with a little bit more acidity, or you could just make it a little bit sweeter and rounder, which everybody's going to enjoy.
I'll just go back to these three again then.
Yeah.
See what you think, Paul.
I'll follow you around.
The other thing is they're cool, they change as well, and not everybody drinks their cappuccinos red hot. You know, people like them to cool down. And espressos as well. It's funny, the Rwandan really stands out as something very different as well.
It feels as well.
Yeah, it's completely different to the other four.
Choices, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking Rwanda.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you reckon, Paul?
Yeah, like, second time around, sorry, apologies, throwing drips around the place. The second time around, I really like the Rwandan.
So this is where I'm going to take over with percentages a little bit. I'm going to suggest some percentages just because I know how the different ones will work in the blend. If we're going to go the Rwandan, I think we should go no more than 20% in the blend. I think any more than that, it will dominate the other flavours and it'll get a little bit confused. And then I'm thinking if we're going for these two, the Bolivian and the Brazil, I think we should go 40-40. I think they've both got things going on in there. That'll be the glue that kind of comes together with them. And let's see how that works out. And then pull some shots. If it doesn't work, too acidic or too much sweetness, not enough interest, then we'll change those percentages.
Cool.
Okay. Should we go to it?
Yeah.
So we've got our beans. We're going to pull some shots in a moment and actually taste the coffee blend itself. So, Steve, do you want to just remind us which beans we've gone for and the percentages that are going into the blend now?
Sure, we've got Brazil Paseo Natural, which is 40%. We've got 40% of the Bolivian Loaiza Peabry, and then we've got 20% of the Rwandan. The Brazil is going to give us the base notes, going to give us the foundation to build on the dark chocolate notes. We're going to have the Bolivian to give us that kind of sweetness, milk chocolate with a little bit of cherry kind of flavours going on in there. And then Rwanda's going to really give us that like citrus acidity to give it a little bit more zing, a little bit more lift. That'll help it work in milk well as well as an espresso.
Great stuff. Okay, well, should we get stuck in?
I'm on it.
Well,
Talk
Steve,
amongst yourselves while I'm doing this, yeah? I'll just make grinder noises.
quite a quiet grinder, isn't it?
It is quite a quiet grinder.
Great stuff. So while Steve's pulling the shots, loads of information on hasbeen.co.uk about different ways to make your coffee. Loads of brew guides, loads of stuff to get stuck into there. So check out hasbeen.co.uk and we'll taste the coffee in a few seconds.
After all the drama of trying to dial in, this one's actually coming quite nicely now, so I'm very happy. Just in time for the camera. And voila.
Awesome. Thank you.
There it is. Feel left out. Good. So what we're getting there is you definitely taste the Brazil Paseo, that natural, that dark chocolate, and I think that's the big front end part, but then the acidity kicks in after. You read that Rwanda, considering how little we've used, it's kind of very little's gone a long way in the blend. It's kind of brought out that citrus notes in there. The Bolivian is kind of somewhere in the middle where it's got that milk chocolate sweetness, but it's got that cherry sweetness that will really work well with the two. So I thought the Rwanda was going to be the glue, but actually it looks like the Bolivian's the one that's bringing them both together and is kind of the middle ground coffee. I think it's a very challenging blend. It's got lots of brightness. I think in milk it's going to really shine through well.
So that's our HasBean Coffee Blend for 2016. We'll give it a name pretty soon. It'll be on sale on 1st of June on the hasbeen.co.uk website. If you have pre-ordered your coffee as part of entering RideStaffs 2016, we'll send those out to you before the event. If you've entered but haven't done that, get on hasbeen.co.uk. I think that just about wraps it up for Velog number 10.
Yeah. Also limited numbers, so once it's gone, it's gone.
How many, Steve?
I don't know is the honest answer, because of how much coffee we've got left of the different components in the blend, but yeah, I don't expect it to be around forever. So yeah,
Okay.
It's gone.
So there's your incentive. Get on it. Put 1st of June in your diary, and we'll look forward to hearing what you guys think about the coffee, and see you on the weekend.